Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. We will get started here in just a few minutes. Give everyone a chance to get that alert that we are live. And we will get started here in just a few minutes. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Career Happy Hour. We are so excited to have our show tonight. I am your host, LaShena Recruitalina, and I am your six-figure career brand coach. I am so excited for our show tonight. As you pop in, please make sure, for those that are tuning in live, that you drop in your name, where you tuning in from, and you know how we do at Career Happy Hour. Let us know what you sipping on, because it is 5 o'clock somewhere, and right now it's 5 o'clock. It's happy hour. We're about to have some fun and to be able to talk to our amazing featured guest speaker tonight. Oh my goodness, I am so super excited. So I will go ahead and get us kicked off. We got some folks rolling into the live. You know, we like an engaged audience, right? This is engagement. We want to hear from you. And for those of you who were not able to catch us live, we get it. We understand. But what we would like for you to do is when you drop into the replay, you know what to do. Hashtag replay, so we can make sure to give you some love, and we know that you're out there giving us some love and some support. So let's see who we have checking in with us. We have Kimiko, Cuzzy Cuz from Montgomery, Alabama. Welcome. Thank you so much for the love. We have Nigeria from Pensacola, sipping on that sangria. Oh yes, Nigeria. That sangria is on point. Let's see, Vernay, you don't have your drink ready? Come on. I need you to have your drink ready, even if it's H2O. You know how we do it at Career Happy Hour. You can still have H2O. It's okay. It's all right. We also have Antoinette that is tuning in from Detroit. What are you sipping on, Antoinette? We want to know. Come on. We also have Sandy from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my goodness, we're all over the nation tonight. Oh yes, Renee's tuning in from Gahanna, Ohio. I am so excited that we have so much love coming in from our Career Happy Hour crew. And as you know, we also are streaming live to all of your favorite podcast platforms. So in addition to being here live and catching the replay, we also want to make sure that you tune in on your favorite podcast channels, as well as we're on the TV network, KDCP Network. So that's right. You can catch the replays of our show on Roku. Yeah, you know I make up words. You know what I'm talking about, on KDCP Network. So we are so excited for that partnership so that we can have this continued, this momentum that we're driving around here. Because you know what we do here at Career Happy Hour? We're here to normalize earning six figures. That's right. And six figures does not stop at $100,000. Oh, no. It goes up to $999,999.99. Let's get that point in there. That is one digit shy of $1 million. So what we do here at Career Happy Hour is we share these career stories with you to give you inspiration, motivation that you can take back into your day, into your career, into your business, and take it to the next level. So I am so excited for us to be able to get started. All right, we got a woohoo for KDCP Network up in here. Yes, so excited for that partnership. So, without further ado, let me give you a little bit of an intro to our guest tonight because when I tell you we have so much to cover, you do not want to miss a single moment. So, our guest for tonight is Angela Prince. Now, Angela has served over 30 years as an educator in grades K through adult, but don't say anything because 30 years she started at 5 years old, so don't think about that. So her experience though includes teacher, instructional coach, curriculum supervisor, administrator, and director of operations. Angela currently serves as the founder of Ed Life Consulting Services, helping schools throughout the country transform education through school improvement planning, school progress and quality reviews, principal coaching, and instructional professional development. Angela is on a mission to rebuild urban schools and is dedicated to coaching teachers, parents, and the community that they serve. Angela believes that all children have the right to a quality education. She also feels that as educators, we have a moral responsibility and obligation to provide that education for all our little kiddios. So, without further ado, let me bring to the virtual stage the one, the only, the amazing Angela Prince.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was like, is she talking about me?
Yes, that is your amazing bio right there. And I am so excited to have you on the show. And
Thank you
in
so much.
true career happy hour style, we are going to let our audience know, Angela. We're going to tell them, what are
Okay.
you sipping on for career happy hour tonight?
Well, I'm sipping on a little Sierra Mist in my
Mm,
fancy glass because of the students. Because, I wanted my eyes to stay open and not get tight.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's do a cheers, a virtual cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Awesome, awesome. Well, we have see everyone's loving your intro. I love that intro. And for some of those who are dropping in on Facebook for a live, if you could just put in your name because sometimes the platform doesn't tell me your name and I want to give you some love if you're giving us some love in the comments. So just drop in your name and we have some welcomes to Angela and some cheers.
Thank
So
you.
so great to see all of that love that is here for you. Well, Angela, I know there's just so much packed into that intro. And I really want to unpack that a little bit for our audience a little bit more. But I really, as we, get started, one of our traditions here on Career Happy Hour is to let us know, when you were that little girl, Angela, growing up,
Mm.
what did you want to be when you grew up? What did you tell people?
I think teaching has always been a part of who I am. I just remember being an avid reader as a little girl, climbing trees, reading all day. And, at the end of summer, getting all the worksheets from my teachers to go home to have over the summer to play school. So I think it's always just been a part of me to be able to lead and to teach. And so, even when I started college, it's like, oh no, I tried to get away from it, but I was ultimately led right back to teaching.
Oh, wow. So, as a little girl, you said, I want to be a teacher.
I think I really didn't think about it. I didn't
Yeah.
really think about it. I just know that was something that I really loved.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was till, it really hit me in high school that I really thought about what I really wanted to be in this career and what I really loved. And it was teaching that kept coming back, teaching in some form, helping people in some form. I'm from a family of servant leaders, of people that help all the time. So I know that I would be in some type of helping field.
I love that. I love that. Well, we have some love in the audience from Sandy. She says, "Love it. So proud of you, sister."
Uh, thanks, sis.
So amazing to have this support. And this is what I love about Career Happy Hour is that we're here to support each other and to lift each other up. And I know that is so much in the in your recent accomplishment as an author. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
Angela,
should I share the book?
please do.
Education Transformation. Yes.
So I have that on the runner down at the bottom for those who are tuning in on the visual, but for those of who are tuning in on audio only, because I want to make sure you have some love too. You can check out a copy of Angela's book if you go to iamlashena.com, click on the Amazon link, and it will take you to Angela's book on my storefront on Amazon. When I tell you, oh my goodness, Angela, this book is so amazing. And I know that, probably your original audience was educators, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
is that right?
That's right. Yeah, the original audience was educators, but from the people that have read it, so many people have told me I can use this in my life. My sister, who's a nurse, she's like, "This is not just for educators. This is for everyone. Anybody could use these pillars to help in their role as a leader."
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. And Renee, yes, shout out to all the educators. If there is in no other time that we need to shout out our educators, it
It's
is
not.
now and in the last couple of years, because
Definitely.
it has been some really, all of us have had to pivot, but definitely our educators. And I know, having a son in middle school, sons in middle schools, they have, it's been an adjustment for them. And at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, as you talk about how important those educators are to our next generation that's coming up, it's something that spoke to me as a parent. And I know that it can speak to others at different levels within whatever they're doing, even as a leader in business, a leader as an entrepreneur. There's just so much within this book that it's almost like you've given a blueprint to say, okay, if you want to be successful, here's
You know what? When I started writing this book, it was thought of kind of like as a blueprint. I was working with principals across the country who were running schools that were in need of improvement, and they just did not know where to start. There were so many things that were going on, and these were some of the reoccurring themes that I was found myself coaching them on. And that's like, this needs to be in one place so that at least as a new principal beginning this work, I can at least have a starting point of things to focus on. Because when you're leading a school that's in need of improvement and trying to transform that school, you sometimes don't know what to make the priority. And that was the goal of this book. And the book has gone through such a transformation itself since we first started this work.
really so.
Yeah.
So this transformation, which is, ironic because the name of the book with transformation in it, why do you think that it's gone through a transformation?
When I first started the book, I'm a big Scrabble player. And so it's like, okay, it's going to be about Scrabble. So it's going to be transformation A to Z. And then people just choose a letter and choose that letter, and that's where they start, or make a word and they focus on those areas. But then as I started to, share the idea of what I was doing with principals and different people, it says like you really need to streamline that work because that's going to be a little bit too random. And so think about the purpose of your company at life: education decisions to lead, inspire, fuel, and empower. And so how does those areas, those topics fit into those pillars? And so having time meeting with, a lot of colleagues and friends in helping me craft this idea, we kind of started, I sent it out to a lot of principals and say, hey, look at these 26 letters. Think about my definitions for each of these pillars. Where do you think they fall? And almost verbatim, they all match the same areas. And so that's how it kind of transformed into those 4 pillars and how those different areas fit under each
Oh my goodness. That is such thorough work, which, of course, as an educator, I wouldn't expect anything less. And as a leader, I wouldn't expect anything less, because as leaders, you do get the buy-in from others to say, what's landing, what's
Mhm.
resonating with you. And one of the things I want to make sure that the audience catches in what you said, because you went through that and it was so amazing. But the acronym that you use,
And
LIFE, LIFE, and it stands for.
lead, inspire, fuel, and empower.
Woo! I need some folks to put in the comments, life. And this is your new definition for life. That's why I say this book is not just for educators. Okay, say it one more time, Angela, so that the
Well,
audience can
I'm going to
really
say the
grasp.
whole thing because it's about making educated or educational decisions to lead, inspire, fuel, and empower transformation. And that could be in a school, in your life, or wherever it is. It's about the decisions you make help makes that life happen.
Oh my goodness. I have it. Oh my goodness. Sharon, she says love it. LIFE. And she's another educator in the building. So she is
Awesome.
definitely getting it. Okay. We got some, oh my God. Thank you for blowing up the comment section with life. Like, we need to make sure that whatever we're talking about, whatever decisions we're making, whatever we're looking at doing, that we unpack that acronym of life. And when I say that Angela unpacks that in this book, it is really beautiful. And one of the things that I really love, because I love reading and I love professional development, growth mindset, really big. And this book is definitely about growth mindset. You actually talk about growth mindset in the book. But
Yeah.
there's a section in the back of, I don't know if it's, I think it's each chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that free flowing section. What was the thought process behind that part of it?
Well, when I read books, I'm always thinking about, like, especially with educational books. And so I wrote this book as like, this is what I want in other books. I don't like to write in the margins, but I like to reflect on what I write afterwards. So after each chapter, I give 3 questions for people to think about in how to start this work. But I also give pages in the book just to have a space to stop and reflect on what I've done, what I need to do, where I need to go. So this book becomes like an educational journal in some ways. And that I'm not only learning, but I'm also writing and reflecting on this journey, because transformation is a journey. It's not a race that's going to get there quickly. It's going to take time. And so I imagine people having this book for years and it's tattered and they got notes all in it, um, thinking about their progress and how they went back and changed that progress over time.
I am the same way. I love writing in my books, and I'll like write it in the very small margins so it
Yeah.
doesn't. And I'll mark it up and put some highlights in it. So I can't wait to get my physical copy so that I can do that. So I really appreciate you giving a little bit of like behind the scenes of
Oh,
the
yeah.
book. And so for those, again, I know some are able to pop in and pop out. I just want to make sure that you remember to make sure that you go and grab a copy of Angela's book. I
Thank
will
you.
be doing I believe in this book so much, and that everyone needs a copy, and they need to gift some copies to their
Yes,
favorite
please.
teacher, their favorite principal, because they're working hard for you. And so,
Yeah.
get some extra copies and gift them. And remember to go to the link, and I am going to be doing a special raffle for those who purchase the book in the within this live. Like those who showed up for the live, I want to make sure that we give you some extra love, because you've been here to give Angela some extra love. So,
Thank you.
so for those that have purchased their copy, by going to the link iamlashena.com. You know my name is I am LASHENA.com. Then click on the Amazon link and pop in the comments. I got my copy. Let's show Angela some love. I got my copy in the comments, and I'll be doing a raffle of those who put that in the comment section. And of course, you have to make sure your email address is, registered so that I can reach you. So we will be doing that drawing. So Angela, with the book, I know we've talked a lot about the book, but there's just so many amazing gems and nuggets in this book. I want to make sure that this continues to resonate and to sit with people long after your interview. But I want to talk a little bit about your career story, because I know in your biography we talked a little bit about how you've been able to turn around a failing charter school, and utilizing some of the principles, I'm sure, that you have that you've written about in this book. Tell us a little bit about, and let me just say this part before you say this. I love the transparency in your book. You break it down and say there were times that I was scared. There were times that I didn't know what to do. So tell us a little bit about that part of it, because I think our audience needs to understand that we don't always have the answers, but by having those principles, we do.
Yeah, and I think that, part of this, I wanted to be able to just like have a conversation like the conversations I have with the principals that I work with. And so they're scared, and sometimes they're thrown into these jobs, and I want them to know that I've been in their shoes. And so I understand what you're going through. I was one of these schools. And so let me help you through it. Let me be your thought partner, because I remember, while I had worked in a principal leadership academy, I wrote the curriculum, I trained principals in how to do the work. I had never actually done the work. And so when the opportunity came, it's like, okay, so now's the opportunity to put everything that you've trained, that you wrote in this curriculum, into practice. And some of it worked and some of it didn't work. And so there were times that, I was really scared. And I remember I didn't have a whole lot of people that I could go to. So it was a lot of trial and error. But I knew that, I needed to lead people. I needed to inspire people. I needed to give them fuel to go on, and I needed to empower them. I knew that even back then as a principal, that those are the things, those were some key elements to get the school together and working for you. And so that's what I focused on in doing that work. And so many of the stories in there come from my experience over, the last 20 years of being an educational leader in turning around these schools. And every school that I went to, I learned a little more. And so I was able to do it a little better the next time, and a little better the next time, because I constantly learned, and I, grew my group of people that I work with. That charter school was a failing school 2 years in a row. And so, I said, there's nowhere to go but up. So let's go in here and do it, and so just giving it the love and just knowing what I know, what was best for kids. And part of it is just being able to do what best for kids and not worry about the status quo. So just having the courage of your convictions to do what's right.
Oh my goodness. That is so, so powerful. Can you hear how, regardless of what industry you're in, these techniques and philosophies really intersect in so many different areas. You could be in a volunteer role and still lead a project, or lead a group of people, and you can still apply some of these philosophies of, you may not know what you're doing. You may So you're going in and you're experimenting and you're learning as you go. And one of the other things that, as we talk about your just some of the things that, especially related to Women's History Month, because I love being able to celebrate you within this month, Angela. Like, we get giving the love to our women and our women leaders. You talk about bias in the book, and I thought that was so transparent too. Especially when we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, which I have such a strong passion for, that there's, sometimes bias that we don't think about or are aware of. Would you mind talking to the audience a little bit about that piece of it?
I think especially when you work in schools that are urban and are in need of transformation, people come in with these preconceived notions about what the students can do, preconceived notions about what the school is. And you have to be able to call a spade and say, hey, you are bringing your bias, which is a very strong opinion, into this school, and really without knowing who we're really serving. And so I think about the charter school. The bias was, this is a failing school. The parents don't care. The teachers aren't working hard. And we had to dispel all those biases by showing them what we really was doing and being our own advocate for our kids and believing in our kids. And so showing them something different helped change that bias about what they had about our school. And so even today, when I work with schools across, I always tell people, you need to make sure you're checking your own bias, because even we as African Americans have biases against things. And, you know, we have to make sure that that bias is not getting in the way of educating students. And sometimes that bias, unconsciously or consciously, prevents us from uh, giving kids the best we can every day, or thinking that they cannot have it. And so for me, that was really important to get in and have people own their own bias, and then learn ways to think different and develop a different opinion around things.
That is such a servant leadership type of a way to think about it. It really is.
I
Because
think this whole book and this whole work is around servant leadership, because as I think our goal in life is that we're here to make good things happen for people, or that we should be. And if everybody just think about, let me make something good happen for somebody, the world will be a better place, especially when it comes to education. And so when I think about this, I said, there's so many things that are bad for education, or don't help kids thrive and grow. I want to make sure that wherever I go, wherever I touch it, I'm bringing life to that organization, life to the education. And I think that's why so many people can relate to this book outside of education, because it's about leaving your mark and leaving it in a positive way by bringing life to whoever you touch.
mm, that that is the power statement right there. Bringing life to everything that you touch, because at the end of the day, that's what this life is all about, right? We want to live the best life that we can live. And by being able to have these different philosophies that we follow in our life, that we give to others, it helps not only us but society as a whole. And
Mhm.
as we talked about, that next generation that's coming up. So that is just, it's really great to be able to see that. And then the bias piece, that's something that that all of us have. Every
Yeah.
individual has a bias.
Yeah, I share a story in the book where I went to the school in Rome, New York, and they said it was an urban school. And I walked in there and it was all white children. And I'm like, this is an urban school? And so I'm like, I bet they don't call themselves an urban school. And so I went to the principal and I was like, so do you consider yourself an urban school? And she says, absolutely. And so I had to check my own bias because I had a bias of how they were going to think about themselves, being that they were not the normal of what we think of an urban school.
I love that part as well because there's so many times that we hear the word urban and we do think black or brown
Mm-hmm.
when urban is really at the definition of it is city. It's
Yeah.
in inner
Community.
city.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the other day I had shared this book with someone I'm working in Upper Buffalo. And she goes, but it says urban schools. And I said, but what's your definition of urban?
Mm.
Your community is considered urban. I mean, look at the definition of what urban is. It's your community, your area where you are, and not think of urban as black or the ghetto or different things. So think about urban in a different ways. We know that most urban schools in those community were black and brown. That's my focus. But when you think of urban, just think it around like my community. And so
Mhm.
whatever your community needs, that's what this book is for.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Can I tell you, like, these are the types of gems and nuggets that she's dropping in this book that will last for decades and generations to come. So that's
Thank
why
you.
I am so passionate about you getting this book in your library. So please make sure, for those of you who have already gone to the link, IamLaShena.com, clicked on the Amazon button, purchase the book, and drop in the
Thank
comment,
you.
I got my copy. And I want to make sure that I put you in a drawing. When I tell you I have a vacation voucher on the line to Mexico or
Yeah.
Vegas, oh, yes, we're doing it like that because we want to make sure that those who are showing up here and getting all of these nuggets and gems and that will take it home with you, make sure that you drop in. I got my copy so that we can make sure that we put you in the drawing. So Angela, I want to talk to you a little bit about, your career story. You've been in different capacities within
Mhm.
the education system. Is that something that you planned out or is that something you fell into? How did that come about? Because you've been in a lot of different pockets.
When I started this work, I had a principal, Fran Vandiver, and she's one of the persons that's dedicated in the book that says, come to Florida and let me show you more than life in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And she did. I did not know where this was going to lead, but as I started this work, uh, my prayer was, God, send me where I'm needed. And so every time that I've moved position, it's been divine. And he has like opened it. It's like I think about every position I haven't applied for it. It has just like, okay, drop here, go here, go here, go there. And it's just falling. It has come to me. And it's been easy. And so I know that it was God telling me this is where I needed to be at this time. And
Oh my
so
goodness.
that's how I've ended up in these experiences. And I think about it, I didn't know why. I was just being obedient and following what God is saying, go here, go there. But as I worked with schools, as I wrote this book, all those experiences came back. And I was like, okay, now I realize that it was preparing me for this very moment of
Mm.
where I am. Things that I forget about, that something in that memory comes flooding back. And it's like, oh, if I've experienced this, here it is. And every as my friend calls it, duty station has prepared me for the work that I'm doing now.
So I want to make sure the audience really picked up on that. You got tapped on the shoulder for these different opportunities.
Absolutely.
And for those of you who know me, LaShena Recruitalina, I am all about how your personal brand will get you tapped on the shoulder for opportunities. And it sounds like, Angela, that's what you were doing along the way.
Mhm.
You were
I
making
didn't know it
sure that
then, but I know it now.
you say you realize that now.
I said I didn't know it then, but I know it now.
Yes. You were being talked about in rooms and tables that you weren't at, you weren't in, but you were doing that so naturally. it wasn't that you were being boisterous. It was just that you were just being you. But
Yeah.
your brand, really spoke volumes for you. And that's so, so commendable, and such a lesson for everyone who's listening. We have a question from the audience here. Let me put that
Okay.
on the screen. Can you talk to us a little bit about staying true to your vision? That's a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. You know,
Thank you.
I had to really think about like what is my purpose and what is my calling. And I know without a doubt that my purpose is education and to ensure that Black and Brown children get a quality education. And so for me, this work that I do, this book is about staying true to that vision and ensuring that that happen and helping as many people as I can make that happen for the students in their schools. And part of the proverb that I like to say is write down the vision and make it plain. And so this is part of that, writing this vision down. I'm looking at my vision board on the wall, having a vision board that reminds you of where you're going and what you're trying and what you're focusing on, and just staying true to that vision and never losing sight of that vision, of that work, because there'll be many things that come and try to get you off your path.
Mm.
But even if you get off that path, you'll feel that tugging in your heart and in your guts that says, this is not where I'm supposed to be, and get back on that path. When I left the principalship, I thought that vision had gone. It's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Because I felt like I was the job, I was that. And how am I going to continue with this vision? But God, again, opened up the doors, and now I'm impacting even more than those 1,200 kids that I was in that school with now. And so that vision continues. So he continues to open it up and let me know that I'm continually on the right path in doing this work.
I put that in the chat. Write down the vision and make it plain. Yes,
That's
yes,
Bible.
yes, yes. We have someone says, this was me. This was me. So I think maybe they're speaking to that career journey that you've had where
Mm-hmm.
you moved from one position to another position, and you thought maybe you couldn't have the same impact that you did.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know who I was without a 9 to 5, without
Mm,
the principalship, without that. And so when I left the principalship, I had to redefine who I was and redefine what that vision is. I know my vision was educating kids, and I still needed to do that, but I had to redefine what does that look like now that you're not attached to the school. Every state that I went to work, and I worked. I mean, that school became my life, and that's what I did. I worked there. And so when that wasn't there anymore, now I had it to, I think people say I had to work to live, but now I just had to learn to live to work.
mm,
So I had to go back and find me again and find who I was outside of the title of principal, or outside the title of assistant principal, or all those titles that came with the job. Who are you outside of that? And you can still manifest your vision without the job. And it's
mm.
like I tell people, I walked away that day and it was clear as day that God says it's time to move, and walked away not having a job, not having a prospect, not having anything, but again, getting tapped on the shoulder, and have been doing this work ever since with Ed Life.
Oh my goodness. That that is such a great, great story, and redefining yourself and knowing who you are. Now we're definitely not promoting that you leave an opportunity without knowing where you're going. Let's make that clear.
No, I'm not promoting that at all.
No, no, not promoting that. But being what how important is it, do you feel, now that you've gone through this journey, looking back, how important is it that you knew who you were in order to be able to go to that next level of your vision?
I think, you know, if I think about it, I used to say people never introduced me to guys because I'm a single lady. They never introduced me to guys. They introduced me to jobs because all they saw was Angela, the career person, moving in having all these jobs. But then I had to stop and say, I am more than just a job. I am my own amazing. And so I had to go back and find that amazing within me. And once I found that amazing in me, then I could begin to manifest that amazing in other people in different ways outside of a job. And so, now I'm creating my amazing every day in schools throughout the country, in conversations with teachers and students. And, there's not a school that I go in that I don't feel that I fit, like right here, like this is my school. This is my place. I am a part of this work. And I think people are starting to see me in that way as well as I start to go in. But I don't think that would have happened if I didn't have that time. And I did have time. It's like when I think about this book is just not head, but it's heart, because this book was about transforming me. So not only is this about transforming school, Angela went through a transformation herself as a part of this work. And this book was part of that transformation in getting it out and really thinking about that work.
That is so powerful. That it is, because would you not agree that until you know who you are, what brings you happiness, that it's hard to really be able to show up as authentically you and have fun and enjoy it.
I think someone once told me, once you do what you love, you never work another day in your life. And I love my work. And it's like people used to say, but you work so much, but I love what I do. So it's not work to me. It's just loving what I do. It makes me happy. But I also had to find other things to make me happy as well, because as someone pointed out at me, I wasn't balanced. And that was a chapter in the book, XY axis. How do you find that work-life balance? Is there any such thing as work-life balance? But knowing that there has to be other thing in your life besides the work. And so for me, it was about like, you can still work and be happy, but you got to find a balance. You got to do some social things. You got to get outside of yourself and do some other things as well. And so learning to do that has also helped me coach the principals and the people that I work with on how to do that. Because before I couldn't, because all I knew was work, 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 work. But now I can now share these stories with my principals of, I was once this way, but you can find a balance. And here's a little way you can find the balance. Here's a little thing that you can do to find balance. And it's been very rewarding, but I couldn't do that if I had to learn to do that myself.
That is so true, because it's you can't authentically teach, lead, or coach others until you have gone through it yourself, until you are a testimony to what you're teaching. Otherwise it won't come out as being authentic, because you're just saying what you
Absolutely.
think makes sense. But people, what is the phrase? I mess up phrases, but people will people will watch what you're doing, and they'll learn from that more than
What you say.
what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So you role modeling the behavior that you want from others or expect from others is really important to being able to being that servant leader. I
Yeah.
truly believe that. We have some great engagement from the audience.
Oh, cool.
We have, God told Abraham to go and he didn't know where he was going.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I
Chemical
had
says,
my
I have
Abraham
learned.
moment. That was my Abraham moment for sure.
You had your Abraham moment.
I had my Abraham moment.
Chemical says, I have learned so much.
Thank
I got
you.
my copy in the chat. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. We need to make sure that this book goes viral. in your library, your personal library, but also for anyone in your network that you love, that you know loves professional development, who you know that needs a little bit of a pick me up, because these philosophies and techniques, they are so expansive to so many different levels, and this has just been so amazing to be able to talk through this a little bit more. And I know we've covered a little, little different pieces of the book, but is what's your favorite part of the book? I know this is a hard question. What is
Mm,
your favorite?
there's so many parts. I was thinking about that today because you did prep me that. It's like, what's your favorite part? And it's like, what is my favorite part? But I think it has to be around, I chose three. It was like joy at work, and humility and love. But I think it's the joy at work because you spend 8 hours a day at a place. You need to have some joy, and you need to, love being there because that becomes your family. But you also have to have that humility and love and recognize that this is not about you. This is about, the more you give, the more God gives back to you. And so you got to have that humility, you have to have that love, and you have to have that joy. So I think those are like the favorite chapters for me in this book, and really helping people really think about that. Because if you think this is about power in this work, it's not. It's really about that humility and knowing that you're here for a purpose. And again, that we're here to make good things happen for other people. And that's what we're doing this work. And it's like, I wish that in my, leadership programs, these are the kind of things they talk to us about, but they really don't. And so, part of my vision is seeing this book in education programs in colleges and universities, that they have this before they even get into the position, to start thinking about these pillars and how they do it as up and coming leaders.
And if they had it in their curriculum, what impact do you feel like this book would make?
I think that they would come in with a different mindset about what leadership is. Many times I just remember as an AP finishing my program and going in there and thinking it was all about, you know, butts, bells, and buses and the systems that we have to put in place, and not really focusing on the people, not really seeing the people as people or the students as people. And how do we have that humility and love and bring joy to the place? And how do we really do things with a way that we are doing to make this space a place where children learn, thrive, and flourish? But not only children, but we have to do that for the adults in the building as well. I used to say, if we don't feed the teachers, they will eat the kids. And so we have to find our way to that we are giving fuel to the teachers, that we are inspiring the teachers, that we're empowering them to do this work and meet the expectations that we set forth to give kids a quality education.
That is such a shift in mindset. And I think you're right. The sooner that that part can be ingrained in our minds and our hearts, then the sooner the impact that you can make, that our educators can make. And I tell you, it's 360,
Yeah.
because if the teachers make the students life miserable and the students make the teacher's life miserable, that comes back to us at home. We
Yeah.
all have to deal with it.
But also as a leader, I mean, there's a chapter in that says you set the tone. You set the
Mm,
tone of what's in your building. If you walk into your business miserable and sad every day, that energy is going to take up that space, and that's what you're going to get. And so you have to set that tone in of what your building is going to be like, and that energy that you give the teacher, so it trickles down to the students as well.
yes, yes. We have a yes, Lord, in the building.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
Lord.
And so I know that you're, not in the school building anymore per se, on in that type of role. Now you're in a consulting role talk to us
Mhm.
a little bit about your consulting role in just what does that look like? What does that sound like for individuals who maybe have been in education to know that that doesn't mean that that's where your career stops. It could be expansive. You can go in many different directions. So tell us a little bit about Ed Life Consulting Services.
Yeah, part of Ed Life is to be that conduit for people who like, okay, I'm ready to leave education, but I still want to help educate. And so that's part of this work is that we're still educating. And so we're working with principals and coaching them on how, to lead their schools. We're working with teachers and how to embed, equity and be culturally responsive teachers. We're working with coaches on how do you coach teachers to be better teachers. We're working with districts and organizations around, you know, how do you become a better district and around school improvement initiatives. We have a whole series of workshops that we offer for teachers for professional development points, and it's not the same type of workshop that they usually get is to sit and get. These are really interactive workshops where they walk away thinking like, oh my god, I'm a better person by attending these workshops. And I can take this and turn around and use it tomorrow in my classroom. And that's, I just think about what I needed as a educator, as a teacher growing up, and I try to make sure that that's what I offer to uh, the people that come through Ed Life.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I know there's so many out there who are listening in and thinking, I know someone who could definitely benefit from those services. So make sure that you contact and connect. Like it's really big about connecting. Like let's connect and
Yeah,
support each other. And you're on Instagram. We have that scrolling at the very bottom. @life_consulting for those who are on the podcast and only getting the audio. So we want to make sure that you go out and you follow on Instagram as well as on your website. What's your website?
edlifeconsulting.com.
Awesome. That
And it's a
is.
bomb webpage. So you'll just like really love it being there and join the my Ed Life crew. So
Oh, where is
yeah.
that?
So it's on my webpage where you can join to become a subscriber and find out what's happening with Ed Life.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. We have Michelle who chimed in. She says, Angela, you are amazing. I can't wait to finish reading your book.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, Michelle. I'm just I'm just ready to finish reading it. Like I wanted to make sure that, I had uh, some good content for us to be able to talk about, but I can't wait to like really peel back the layers. So Angela, it has been so amazing to have you on
Thank
the
you so
show.
much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate
You
it.
have
It's been
such
so
a
much fun.
beautiful. Good, good. You have such a beautiful career story that it's gone in so many different facets, and you've unpacked so much for us. We have Vernay who said this was amazing. Thank you for
Thanks,
this
Renee.
highly informative live.
Yes. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you so much. Um, this, oh my goodness. Oh, God bless you for all that you do for kids, faculty, and
Uh,
staff.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We need all of that love because it is definitely like I said, it's challenging times
Yeah.
in the area of education. And we need to lift each other up and support each other. And it goes beyond just that one teacher. It takes
Hmm.
a village for all of us to pour into each other. And that's just, I truly believe that. And that's why I try to be so active as I can be with my son's school, because it all makes a difference. I harp on volunteers, like we need
Yeah.
volunteers. And people, it's amazing to me how people say, well, I'm busy, somebody else will do it. No.
No, no. It
We
begins
all
with
have
you.
to be in it. We have
Absolutely.
another user who says, I have finished the book and it is beneficial to all
Yes.
readers, not just educators. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, Angela, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. The love that we're getting. One more. Michelle says, this work isn't easy. It takes a true leader to lead. Thanks for being a leader in our community to make our students great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle.
I think that's a great way for us to wrap it up and make sure again that you go out and get your copy and gift some copies, get some extra copies and gift them out. That you see the cover there, it's amazing. It's an amazing read. Go to IamLaShena.com, click on the Amazon link, and we want to make sure that you get all of those great nuggets that Angela has shared with us in such a transparent way. Like she really peels back the layers, and she just, she's just showing you who she is and the some of the things that she's gone through in her, in her career and her career story. So Angela, any parting words for us as we sign off to this amazing chance to get to know you and about your book?
I think just remember to make decisions that give life to people. In that way, we can all make this world a happier place for everyone.
I absolutely love it. And this acronym is going to go down in history for me. So please just one more time tell us, what is that acronym life all about?
It's about making educational decisions to lead, inspire, fuel, and empower transformation in the lives of others.
Woo! Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I
Thank
love it.
you.
Thank you again, Angela, so much for being on the show. And from all of the love that you received, you have some amazing, amazing things to come. So keep rocking it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
All right. So thank you so much for everyone for tuning in to another episode of Career Happy Hour. We are here to share the career stories of individuals that who are really showing us the things that have impacted them in their career, the ups and the downs, the twists and the turns, and it's not always that straight line of A to Z. And along the way, we want to make sure that we're showing you how you can also normalize six figures, because we want to make sure that you stay recruitable, visible, and profitable. Getting tapped on the shoulder, that's part of being recruitable, visible, and profitable, all while rocking your ump. I have the pleasure of being your host, LaShena Recruitalina, your six-figure career brand coach. I will see you next time, and looking forward to all of the career stories, the amazing career stories that we shall continue to share. Cheers.